Yeah, I said, come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. 'Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah, come walk with me and save your toes and feet. Yeah, I said, come walk with me. Save your toes and feet. 'Cause when you walk with me, you can eat the food you want to eat. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. 'Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they cut me up until I'm just a nose. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. Yeah, I said I'm walking, y'all.
Great White
Trying to
isn't y'all.
stay ahead of the sugar
Ooh.
cane.
I am sweating. Great White isn't. Come on for the walk. Or if you're already here, thanks for coming on the walk. Great White isn't. Talking to your sweaty girl. I figure I have my time the same as y'all. A lot of you probably have started walking already. Great White isn't. Y'all see my new sneakers? My new walking tennis shoes? Yeah, I can see those. Oh gosh. It's telling me to go live. I'm thinking I'm live on Facebook and it's telling me to go live. I thought I was live. Hey Facebook, Great White isn't. Great White isn't. I went live 3 times. I went live 3 times. They trying to tell me something about stars, but they can also send it to me when I'm not on the walk. You know, like notices. You can get stars now on your walk. Don't wait to start doing it when I'm on the walk. My brain don't operate like that. Who y'all? I don't know how y'all old people do it without exercising. I don't know how you do it. I used to work on a job with some people that was so well, they walk up and down the hall, up and down the hall, but other than they were so old, I didn't know how they did it. But yeah, I know how they did it. Honey, they had a pocketbook full of medication. A pocketbook full of medication. I don't think I'm going to do my human experience like that. Well, I want to tell you something. I don't know. Quite a few months ago, or maybe we talked about it like a year ago, and I called my daughter by her name that me and her father agreed upon. She would have my mother's name as what you call her business name, and his mother's name would be the middle name because I didn't want his mother's name to be the first name. For a lot of business reasons, and Day has thanked me for that. Well, my daughter, Pretty. Anyway, let me get to the story. So, I was trying names, and Boo. I didn't like Boo. I don't know, and me and my Boo, and this and I was like, I don't like Boo. I don't like those bowel movement names, like Doody and Doodoo. Hold on, y'all, I missed the light. You know, like Doody, Doo-doo. I don't like those bodily function pet names. one. And then, when I got back from Nevada, I asked myself, what is a name that you always wanted to call her? When she was little, what was the name that you called her? And I said, Pretty. But when she was small, she didn't mind it. And I had some very, very, that's why I don't deal with them relatives. One time she said Pretty to them. They thought it was the funniest thing. They couldn't wait to tear her apart. So I was like, so she, started thinking that maybe I was teasing her by calling her Pretty. That's why we got away from them folks. Not fast enough. A lot of damage was done, but we did clear them. And so I said Pretty. And then when she was like an adolescent, I tried again, Pretty. And again, it was more received by me making fun of her. Because remember, she had mentioned, oh, I'm pretty, or Mommy calls me Pretty, and my family proceeded to shred her. So then, like I said, the name Pretty became a way of me kind of torturing or tormenting her. So I said, oh, Pretty. I loved it. We would laugh, and she was just a little baby. We'd laugh, she'd hug me, kiss, spin around, like good stuff, until she was laughed at, and then me calling her Pretty became a way of antagonizing or teasing her. So I went to her, I said, Day, Pretty, it's a work in process. I said, would you get upset if my pet name or nickname for you is Pretty? And she broke out in a smile. And I was so happy. And every time I call her Pretty, it's like a rainbow comes over me. And to watch her receive it as what it was meant to be. The truth, I'm her mother. I say, you pretty, you pretty. But they just broke her down so much. When she said, oh, my mother calls me Pretty, or something pretty. You that, you this, you that, you this. Look. What's she call you Pretty for? Whew. But now we're happy. So, I got my Pretty back. I had to wait till she would come get in her 40s, but I got my Pretty back. So now, that's what it is. I'm happy about her pet name from when she was a little girl is back in play for those hard people. Turned it into something vile. So, I want to tell y'all about that. Now, I gotta tell you straight up. Back in the 60s and 70s, basically, when African American, probably other cultures, but I'm not speaking for them, I'm speaking for me and the culture that I'm connected to, the race. There were so many junkies because my grandfather was still alive, and he was the super in the tenement building on 135th Street between Lenox and 7th Avenue, which is now Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard or something. Where the Y is on 135th Street, that block. The school is on one side and the tenements are on the other. So now, we would come up from Brooklyn, either driving or taking a train, and we could literally pull up to we'd have to pass 125th Street. You would see these African American junkies, men, nodding, sleeping on the benches everywhere. If we got off the train and walked up the block, as you're coming up the stairs, heroin junkies would be leaning all over the place. Damn near every step. Oh, forget about going into the hall. Forget about going into the tenement hall. So the African American activists were saying, stop pumping all this poison into Harlem and the African American communities. And they basically said, kiss our ass, y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of black loser junkies. So they did nothing. They just kept allowing the mafia and other things to filter their heroin in. So the thing that the activists were saying was, they said they ain't gonna do nothing until that heroin get hold of them white folks. When that heroin get hold of them white folks, then they'll do something about it. And life went on. Junkies all over the place. African American junkies all over the place. Needles were all over the place. Like years later, I saw crack vials. Needles all over the place. You could get stuck by a needle just walking down the street, putting your hands down somewhere. So it's like, you always had these ones. Look where you're going. Don't step on no needle. Don't put your hand down. Every time we went, it was like all these rules. And the activists kept saying, they ain't gonna do nothing until these white people get hooked on heroin. So we're talking the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, 2020. 60 years later, these white people are as hooked on heroin as fish are hooked on water. I can't think of a better analogy. And when they first got on it, what was Reagan, the 70s, 80s? When they first got on it, a lot of white people started getting on it. Reagan gave them Social Security. Because that was another thing. We didn't get shit. And a lot of those dope fiends that was around there came back from the Vietnam War. We didn't get shit. But Reagan gave them Social Security. He needed it for the hillbilly states. I'm telling you, Hatfields and McCoys, Democrats, Republicans, they're all the same. They're cousins. And it's all about them, and it's all about them, and then it's all about them. So 60 years later, these white people so strung out on heroin, all up in the heels, all over. I know in Connecticut, festering with heroin addicts. Festering. So they invented Narcan. Oh, now when we was dying, there was nothing for us without it. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing special, no treatment. Wasn't even looking into it. But now white people dropping dead. So they got the Narcan. But still, they getting addicted to the heroin. Well, of course they were getting addicted to heroin. You already told them they were special people. That they were better than. They gods. So when they shoot up on that heroin, they feel like special people and gods. Now what we see is their body, which I call matter, with no energy to control it. The energy is the one that the heroin is hidden. And the body is caught up in it. And I know they say just the opposite. Oh, the body becomes addicted. But you watch them, they have no spirit. That's the zombies. But this morning, let me go back to this point. Heroin was so big in Harlem that Mother Hale opened a hell house. Those little babies were coming out shaking, dark, all kind of messed up. They didn't care. They didn't care because it wasn't them. See, they had their, what do you call that speed, and they got their alcohol and shit. So they didn't care. So Mother Hale had the Hale House. And she would literally have to go to hospitals and get these little heroin babies. The mothers would basically bring their little heroin babies to Mother Hale. And then by the time the crack epidemic came, which they suffering from now, didn't do nothing for us. Because, that was Reagan that went and dropped all that cocaine there. Anyway, Mother Hale used to take all these, they used to show you how the babies used to shake and everything. Used to do all kind of stuff. They didn't grow or anything like that. And you know what America said? That's a black people's problem. Fuck them. 60 years later. Honey, there's junkies in suits. Them white folks is junkies in suits. If you hit the methadone clinics at about 5:30 in the morning, you see them all lined up to get their methadone so they can go to work and act like they better than the gods, the chosen people, the special one, the porcelain puppies. So now, because they're dying so rapidly, you remember when I told y'all when they heroed up in Vietnam, heroin up in Vietnam, and then those who they couldn't kill, or those that the Vietnam or the Chinese didn't kill, came back junkies. And you know what America said? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. It ain't happening to white people. Y'all like that because there's something wrong with y'all. Y'all always gonna do something. Nothing. Our tax dollars didn't go to us to help us out. But now, I heard they got Narcan over the counter. Over to bring them junkies and white junkies back to life. You see how things changed? They said it. Dying, dying, dying. I remember as a child, literally, you be stepping over them junkies. And that's what we call them. Now y'all call them heroin addicts, opioid addicts, because it's white people. Opioid addicts. Y'all just call them junkies. So, the old activist was right. Until their people start dying from it, nothing will be done. And on the other side, the ancestors are saying, from the 60s, and activists, their energy is saying, oh, well, who cares? Fuck them. Because that's what they said to us. I don't want my tax dollars. Yeah, over the counter, pay for that shit. I don't want my tax dollars going to junkies anymore. Them white junkies. Because you didn't put nothing to the black junkies, and you sent them back from Vietnam as junkies. I know they talk about Billie Holiday and different things like that, and heroin's out there. Yeah, I know all that. But after the Vietnam War, they dumped junkies in Harlem. It's like I'm telling you, you would go in a hallway, and You wouldn't be afraid that they would rape you or steal from you. They couldn't get up. They peed and defecated where they were. They were junkies. We cried out for help for them, get them. I just remember the adults talking, and the news articles, and the activists. A lot of activists in the 60s. And you know what they said? Ha! Them black people be whining all the time. Now, them folks is shooting up, and they throw that fentanyl in there, and they're dying. Now it's an emergency. Now it's over the counter. Now it's a priority. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Or as I said, oh, they think they special. Ain't they special? But I don't understand why they need Narcan. Can't Jesus bring them back? Can't them cult leaders touch them and bring them back and let use our money for taxes for something else? Can't these inmen and amens and rabbis and shit start touching people and healing them? Ain't that what they say they do? Ain't they vehicles of God? Cults, one and all. Cults, be they big or be they small. Whew, that's our break. We did our 20 minutes. Let's get some water.
Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they cut me up until I'm just a nose. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. Yeah, I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to stay ahead of the sugar cane. If I stop walking, y'all, the cane gonna trip me up. Yeah, come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they'll cut me up until I'm just a nose. Yeah, come walk with me and save your toes and feet. Yeah, I said come walk with me. Save your toes and feet. Cause when you walk with me, you can eat the food you want to eat. I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. I said I'm walking, y'all, trying to save my feet and toes. Cause if I stop walking, y'all, they cut me up until I'm just a nose.
Just a nose, y'all. I remember my
I'm
girlfriend's
walking, y'all.
mother was going through diabetes, and we was talking about diet, what kind of food do her grandkids and stuff bring her, and they loved her so much they just bought her snacks and different sweet things and fast food things that she loved, not things that was good for her. But anyway, I remember talking to her, and she was upset because she said they just keep chopping things off her, like foot, like a toe, another toe, then the whole foot, then the bottom part of the leg, then the thigh. I mean, they literally chopped her up. I didn't want to say, I'm traumatized hearing about it. But I never forgot it. Now we're going to go to HR 40, reparations. 2023, issue, volume 1, 169, number 7, daily edition. Reparation, Congressional Record, volume 169, number 7. From the Congressional Record online through the Government Publishing Office. Reparations. Ms. Jackson Lee asked and was given permission to address the House for 1 minute. Ms. Jackson Lee. Mr. Speaker, it has been 38 years and I rise with enthusiasm on reintroducing H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act. I am pleased to reintroduce this legislation and to acknowledge to my friends and colleagues that it was first introduced in 1989 after the implementation of the American Civil Liberties Act that provided compensation to Japanese Americans. H.R. 40 does not focus on all of that only. It focuses
Not money
on the
only.
study
Black
of
people are the only
slavery
one can't
and the
focus on getting
understanding
money
of
only.
what would be the next steps to end the vast disparities in the African American community even today in 2023. And so this introduction allows for a study, an analysis, and action. I am pleased with the more than 350 organizations, CEOs, scholars, state and local officials, and members of Congress who have been supportive in understanding the era of slavery in this country. The 13th Amendment may have ended slavery, but the disparities exist. Let us pass H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposal for African Americans Act. Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to reintroduce H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act. This legislation was first introduced by retired Member of Congress John Conyers of Michigan in 1989 and was intended to examine the institution of slavery in the colonies and the United States from 1619 to the present, and further recommend appropriate remedies. Since the initial introduction of this legislation, its proponents have made substantial progress in evaluating the discussion of reparation and reparatory justice at the national level and joining mainstream international debate on the issues. Though some have tried to deflect the importance of these conversations by focusing on individual monetary compensation, the real issue is whether and how this nation can come to grips with the legacy of slavery that still inflicts current society. Through legislation, resolution, news, and litigation, we are moving closer to making more strides in the movement towards reparation. Today, there are more people at the table, more activists, more scholars, more CEOs, more state and local officials, and more members of Congress. However, despite this progress and the election of the first African president of African descent, the legacy of slavery lingers heavily in this nation. While we have focused on the societal effects of slavery and segregation, its continuing economic implications remain largely ignored by mainstream analysts. These economic issues are the root cause of many critical issues in the African American community today, such as education, healthcare, and criminal justice policy, including policing practices. The call for reparation represents a commitment to entering a constructive dialogue on the role of slavery and racism in shaping present-day conditions in our communities and American society. Over the last several years, we have had a distinguished academic and activist panel from the National African American Reparation Commission dive into some of the most salient points in the discussion of reparation. I am supporting this effort by continuing to hold the annual reparation retrospective at the annual legislative conference of the Congressional Black Caucus. I believe that H.R. 40 is a critical piece of legislation because it goes beyond exploring the economic implications of slavery and segregation. It is a holistic bill in the sense that it seeks to establish a commission to also examine the moral and social implications of slavery. In short, the commission aims to study the impact of slavery and continued discriminations against African Americans, resulting directly and indirectly from slavery to segregation to desegregation process and the present day. The commission would also make recommendations concerning any form of apology and compensation to allow the long-delayed process of atonement for slavery. With the over-criminalization and policing of black bodies a reoccurring issue in African American communities, I believe this conversation is both relevant and crucial to restore trust in the government institutions in many communities. As in years past, I welcome open and constructive discourse on H.R. 40 and the creation of this commission in the 118th Congress. Though the times and circumstances may change, the principal problem of slavery continues to weigh heavily on this country. A federal commission can help us reach into this dark past and bring us into a brighter future.
Yeah. Ooh. That was nice, right? Okay, let's talk about HR. Ooh. That was nice. All right. I'm talking about the walk. That was nice. It's only 7 minutes, but it was nice. All right. Like I said, I'll be calling next week to see, ask a few questions. They said they put in every 2 years. I want to know what they found out since the last 2 years they put it in. So I'll probably have to go to that African American reparation thing. But all those scholars and stuff that she's talking about, you got to bring it back to Carter Woodson. So is a man taught, so shall he think. And a lot of those people they're talking about are, I say, Greek connected. When I say Greek connected, sorority, fraternities, HBCU, the Jack and Jills, that's the rich people, and all these, because there's a whole wealthy subclass that still have their cotillions and all that stuff. They are the ones that sit on those type of committees. And those are also the ones that become elected officials. It's either going to be a cult leader or HBCU or HBCU in some kind of Greek fraternity or sorority. Now these people, and I've seen them. I've seen the fraternal sisters and brothers. They're already elitists. Okay? Their way of thinking is they pull their ways up by their string. But their mother, their grandfather and stuff, they tried, they couldn't. You can, because they made it possible for you now. But I know now you're up there. So, I have to find out. I just want to find out for us. And I just want to find out because I want to know. In 38 years, what have we? Also, I want to find out, what are you doing? How is your report being written up about what's going on in Mississippi? For surely, they never had any money to pay no real taxes to fix no streets.
You wouldn't give them employment in trades. When my matter and energy separates, my energy is going to become a big ball of fire, flame, white hot. I'm going to go to Midwest, I'm going to pop me some popcorn and steam me some soybeans on the vine. Okay, that calms me. That calms me. So, we couldn't get in government because that's the first thing that Lincoln did, was to put African Americans in government so we can learn how government is ran, how things are done. But those racist, low-life, alligator duty, first thing they did was pass laws to get us kicked out. And then we got the black code laws. And then there was this code laws. And you had to fight through it. But now their families on top. Oh, as they say, people like us. Oates. Something Oates is the author. He is a lawyer who went in a country club in Greenwich and pretended to be like a busboy or something. And they treated him, the Greenwich people, white people treated him, well, like they do. When they see African Americans, can we say, dung under their shoe? Whew. So he wrote a whole book about it because he was our kind of people, and that's the second book he wrote. And that's when you learn about the Jack and Jills and all this interconnected. So I want to find out, because I can do some research, because tomorrow is the last day we're walking 45 minutes. We're back to 30 minutes. We made up for all that time we lost. My body is saying, you didn't let me down. You went ahead and did what you're supposed to do. Whew. We're back to a half hour on Monday. For the month, starting from the 6th until now, we have walked 45 minutes every day to make up for the time. So now we're back in big hitting this and this. So I know what they are, but I wanna see. I wanna know what's going on, and I want to break off. And that's what I was gonna say. Anytime, and my father used to say that, anytime it deals with black people, you'd say, we ain't supposed to ask for money. Okay? You gave the Japanese money, you're giving Ukraine money, you're giving everybody money, but when it comes to us, it's something wrong with us if we ask for payment. Now, I'm going to tell you where it comes from. Back in the day, if you were African American and you asked for a raise, they fire you. White people's company. They would fire you for fucking asking. Just for asking. Who you think you are, girl? You lucky you got a job. Oh, you ain't got one now. So, it started going through, don't ask for no money, don't ask for no raise, don't ask for no money. And like it's mad, it's bad on us if we ask for money. Now, every damn body else can ask for money. And that's what I'm getting from that HR 40. We're not just doing it for compensation. Compensation first, bitch. Why can't I say I want compensation? Oh, because I'll make the white people mad. And then when the white people get mad, they ain't going to give you no money. I need a minute. I'm a ball of flame. When my matter and energy separate, I'm going to be a ball of red hot flame. And I want to see if y'all don't ask for nothing when y'all shit get burned down. I want to see, I'll just be energy because my matter won't be around. But I want to see when I burn up all the fucking corn in your silo, if you ain't going to ask the government for money. But we ain't supposed to ask for money because it make us look bad. So that's what she's saying. We're not doing it for compensation. No, if those people in Mississippi had their reparation 38 fucking years ago, they could have put money into the government to get their water fixed. They could have paid their taxes. They could open their business and get circulation of money going. So how the hell are you going to skip the monetary? And what are you observing? I done told you, just look at Mississippi now. And let me tell you something about these Hatfields and McCoys. They are copycats. They are copycats. I remember when I was writing, especially like TV and especially my plays, they would say, no, you do it like that. No, you do it like this. Because this is the way it's done. And this has been proven to work. And the networks and everybody's going to only go with what's proven. And I used to say, damn, how do you get something new introduced? They only going with what's already out there. Oh, it's been proven to work. You see, they take a cake recipe and they're going to do that recipe. We're going to do something different. We're going to throw this in. We're going to throw this in. We're going to try this. But that's not the Hatfields and McCoys. They don't change like that. Listen, they still listening to classical music just to show that they ain't hillbillies. So that's what I want to find out. What are you people doing? Y'all being scared? Are you really asking for reparations? Or you scared? When my matter and energy separate, I'm going to go through that whole U.S. Capitol. And I know the hearts to squeeze. And I'm going to squeeze them hearts, the blood run out their ears, their mouth, and their nose. And as many of them as I can get would be considered a good damn day. They don't do nothing different. So they ain't give no money. They grandpappy ain't give none. They pappy. They pappy. And the African American used to say, Mr. Master, sir, I knows you don't like us asking. I knows deep in my heart you don't want us to ask you. But, you know, I gotta ask you. I ain't asking for money. No, I'm not asking for money. I'm asking that you give us money to go into this African American reparation thing so we can all get our salaries. That's that Jack and Jill stuff. That's your African American elitists. That's what I'm hearing in HR 40. Not folks that's going to do something. I don't hear that. I hear a bunch of elitists. And I've been to the Congressional Black Caucus. And I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Yes. Twice. Okay? So when I hear that, it takes me back to my memory. I was like, oh, Pepsi was at the Black Congressional Caucus giving out their stuff. That's the corporations that they're talking about. Yeah, that's the corporations they're talking about. For them. I ain't hear them say nothing about no local people like, hey, I'm out here. I'm talking about it. There's a lot of groups. You go on TikTok. We talking about it. What the hell? But it's the Jack and Jill. See, then that's way Miss Uppy, well, do they consider themselves black? I don't even know if they consider themselves having a race. I think they are of African descent, but they think themselves to be descendants of money. So they say they're representing us, but what they're representing is money and their own self-interest. And that's what I'm going to look into. Stop playing. Stop playing with us. These places government is leaving, you kept us out of government. They don't even know nothing about Robert's Rule of Order. You never let us in. When my girlfriend, Ethel, became the president of the NAACP chapter in Portchester, and she lived in the projects, I watched her maneuver among them Jack and Jill. Let me just, you know what? We're going to call these African American elites Jack and Jills. The whole place, when you go to NAACP convention, the whole place is full of Jack and Jills. And wannabe Jack and Jills. They talk about racism, discrimination, everything. Oh, let me start on this side. Whew. Tuck in your elbows. Not up, not down. Let's do this 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 for good luck. My other treadmill was bigger, so I was able to have more space, more room. I could walk the dog and myself on my old treadmill. I miss that. That's why I haven't been able to do dog videos, because we can't fit on the treadmill together. Let's go. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 for good luck. Yeah. And you see the politicians walking around, and you see all the corporations there. All. You know, because why else would they put those Jack and Jills in these high corporate positions if they didn't have events like this to go to push themselves up? Oh, you know what? That's what I'll call the African American elitists and money folks. Jacks and Jills. Oh, Greek Jack and Jills. Greek Jack and Jills. Honey, Greek Jack and Jills ain't worried about me giving reparation. They ain't worried about me finally be able to get something out of this world. Because my ancestors wasn't. My mother loved me. She wanted the best for me. Her share is my share. And her mother's share is her share. So don't tell me those. That's the thing I want to talk about, HR. Don't. Negro, please. Everybody else talking asks for money. So that's why you ain't got no reparations. Because they don't want Greek Jack and Jills don't want reparation to be about money. It's like going to the unemployment office and saying, I don't have a job or anything. I'm not here about the money. I'm here because I'm mad about the job. That's what HR, the more I listen to it, HR 40 sounds like to me. They don't want the money. They want respect. Greek, Jack and Jill. People get involved. Go after your money. Say just like those Japanese people got money, where my money? Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, Facebook supporters. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.